And our second speaker, Andy, come on up. From skyscrapers to startups, Andy bridges the gaps, empowering Tulsa's diverse dreamers. And his heart is in Tulsa, but his reach is global. Andy isn't just an entrepreneur, he's a visionary painting a bright future for Tulsa, not just with brush strokes on a local canvas, but with sweeping gestures across the global landscape. Do I keep going? I'm going to keep going. Guys, no, I'm not going to stop time. I'm going to keep going. Okay. Through Think Latitude, his distribution accelerator, he nurtures companies across contents. I gotta sit down because my hands shake. He nurtures companies across contents, from scaling ventures to facilitating mergers and IPOs. He sees potential everywhere, weaving in tapestries of success beyond Silicon Valley borders. Thank you for being in the Midwest. Beyond a single brush, Andy's vision for Tulsa transcends a singular artist vision. He recognizes the power of collaboration, inviting diverse talents into Think Latitude and Startup Tulsa to co-create a vibrant economic canvas where every stroke, regardless of its origin, contributes to the city's prosperity. From drones to digital nomads, Andy Visions extends beyond brick and mortar. He spearheads No AI, drones armed with AI to safeguard children and advocate for progressive policies that make Tulsa a magnet for remote workers, seeking not just opportunity, but a welcoming community. Come on up. Guys, and yes, nice, calm, informal conversation that we are all having. I'm sure the mic's going to reach, but we can all project. So, we have heard your intros, but tell us a little bit more about you and where you come from. Andy? I'm close to you.
Hi everyone, my name is Andy. I moved here from Austin, originally lived in Chicago, and before that I've lived in over 8 different cities, in and out of the United States, so I love to travel and experience different cultures.
Hi, my name is Lakan, originally from Malaysia. I grew up there, and I moved to Hawaii for school, and then I moved to New York City, and then North Carolina, and then back to Hawaii, DC, and now I'm here.
Who is from the states that they have lived in? Like to visit, lived in also? DC.
I'm from Wisconsin, but Chicago's on the weekend.
Close enough.
Yeah. So, the big question, what made you decide to take the leap and move here to Tulsa?
I'll let you take this one first.
Oh, okay.
Use the microphone.
Okay.
Can I project?
What made you decide to take the leap and move to Tulsa? Oh, sorry.
So this was 3 years and 3 months ago. So it was during the pandemic. We were kind of bored at home. Always wanted to buy property, and it was just unattainable in DC. So we were just thinking of, maybe we could just, work remotely in South Carolina for a month, or work remotely in Pennsylvania for a month, but it was just, too expensive. And then Tulsa Remote came into the picture, and we applied, and we got in, and we just, took the leap and just did it. I think ultimately it's the cost of living that really drew us to move to Tulsa.
So is that really something that you wanted to accomplish here in Tulsa, the cost of living, nice, calm space, and just make the dollar go a little further?
Oh, for sure. I mean, DC, you'll be like in a little studio and paying $1,600, $1,800. Now we're in a 3-bed, 2-bath, 3-bed, 2-bath? Yeah. 3-bed, 2-bath house, and we didn't rent, we just bought it and moved here and moved right into the house. So we have space, we have an extra bedroom collecting dust, so come by, come on by.
So what made me think about Tulsa was, during the pandemic, we were looking at our 3rd location, and we had a lot of commercial real estate, and then we were kind of shut down. We couldn't use so we were all going remote, and I just started thinking about what's the next opportunity to expand. And we started looking at, well, what if we considered a mid-sized city? And I looked at Make My Move, and I saw that Tulsa was one of the largest mid-sized cities for a remote program. So I did a little bit of research on it. I actually had no idea what Tulsa was, other than one of the 2 major cities in Oklahoma. And it's kind of interesting. People say it's the best kept secret, but I feel like it should be shared with more people who don't have exposure to Tulsa. Because until I did some research, I realized that George Kaiser Family Foundation is putting a lot of capital into the city, and there's this new revitalization. There's this new entrepreneurship ecosystem which is booming, and there's going to be some added opportunity. So being on the ground floor of what we do to help small businesses grow and scale, Tulsa just made sense.
Thank you so much for sharing why y'all decided to move here and what you guys wanted to really accomplish. So the big question is, you moved with a business. I believe I read in the intro that you moved with your person. So you guys made that leap, but other than that, did y'all know anything about Tulsa? You did research?
No clue.
Nothing? Okay. Is that similar to other people in the room? Did y'all know? Did you do the research, or did we come without?
Did
What's in
research.
Tulsa was the big question, and that Tulsa Remote came up. Love it. Who is Tulsa? So, when you're in this new community, how did you start building locally? And what does that building consist of? Where did you spend your time, your energy to create community here?
You want to go first?
As I talked about this earlier, for me, like my business life is my personal. They say don't mix business and personal. But for me, it's all about connecting with small businesses. I didn't have Tulsa Remote in all the other cities I lived in, so for me, it's all about connecting with the locals, going to expos, going to different local events, finding out what Tulsa is known for, and trying to figure out what their identity is going forward. So I made a lot of connections just to locals there. Tulsa Remote does a great job of introducing you to a lot of events right on the get-go. So, within a few days, I was already at my first Tulsa Remote event. And then also just connecting with people in my daily life, like my neighbors, people at my gym, just people I have similar interests with. So it made it really easy to build that community.
You stole my answer. I would say, yeah, I mean, neighbors is a big thing. Just walking around the neighborhood, you just meet people and just say hi. People here are really friendly for some reason. But it's nice. It's Midwest nice, right? So, and yeah, I would add to that, gym also is a thing. People seem to be like doing weights on their own, but they actually really want to talk to you. So I just go and interrupt your routine sometimes.
For you, what gym do you frequent?
Oh.
And for you, how do you do business-to-business networking? Like what organizations exist for that?
So when I first came to Tulsa, I took advantage of the free gym trials everywhere. Go to every gym for free for a month or a month and a half. But now I just work out at the YMCA. It's cheap.
So I'd say I started probably 2 months before I moved here. I started having a ton of Zoom calls. And I just started asking for introductions. Some of my first conversations were with Justin, and I told him what I hoped to accomplish coming into Tulsa with my organization. So he introduced me to Atento and Build in Tulsa. Then from there, I met people from ACT, and there's this gigantic entrepreneurship ecosystem, but everybody's there to help you. So if you want to meet someone, or even if you're kind of reserved, I think it's great to just ask for connections. Because the program, amazing people like Tanya here, they will be glad to introduce you to the right person. If they don't know who, they'll get in touch with that person. So it's just really helpful to have those connections.
And for networking tips, when you meet someone at a Tento, at a networking event, and you share what your passion is, your why, what you're trying to build, just adding at the end of that, do you think there's anyone I should meet? Just that little question at the end really does help build a network and build a community, especially when you're brand new in Tulsa. So just put that in your pocket for next time. Thank you guys for all these tips. Next question. Who or what would you say was the key in helping you settle in?
Trader Joe's. I mean, before moving here, we actually researched and, we were like, is there a Trader Joe's? Is there a Whole Foods? Okay, I can move here. All jokes aside, I think, Tulsa Remote is a great community. I'm a lurker on Slack. I don't like to post anything, but I like to be, in the know about what's going on everything and everyone, especially the drama. There's no drama. What drama? There's no drama. But I mean, Tulsa Remote definitely helped me establish, my life here, and it really got it started. So, thank you.
So outside of asking for connections, the second thing that really helps is showing up. So they say that showing up is half the battle, but I believe it's more than half the battle. So actually I used to be a trainer, and I would tell people, I'll make a deal with you. If you show up to the gym 4 days a week with me, you don't have to do anything. And you'll get results. And every time they showed up, they always ended up in a workout. So if you have thought about going to events and you're not really sure about them, it really helps to have Slack. I know Lacan talked about that. There's so many people that are willing to help you out here. So if you're a little shy, you're like, I don't know if I want to go to this event, maybe I won't meet a lot, I don't know anybody there. There's always going to be someone, even if people pour their heart out on Slack. So if you say like, I'm not really sure, if, I'm shy and I'm scared, I don't know anybody, someone will, 10 people will reply and say, meet me there at this event. So that really helps a lot. I always challenge people if they come to Tulsa, pick 6 events that you want to go to in the next 2 months. Half of them could be TR events, but half of them should be local events. And I guarantee that if you go to at least those 6 events in those 2 months, you will make at least one meaningful connection. And if you absolutely don't, hit me up on Slack and I'll take you out to coffee because I want to find out what happened. Yeah.
So I have to say, pretty much mass solution. 27 different things, try one thing at least once if you've never done it. If you have done it, something's going to stick, someone's going to introduce themselves, and it's just going to ripple out. So thank you. Okay. After transitioning to Tulsa, what were a few things that met your expectations and what were some surprises?
Hello. I would say things that met my expectations were less crowd, no traffic, ease of living. Living here is so easy. And I would say some surprises were actually the art scene, which is really cool. I mean, the ballet is really cool, chamber music, Broadway, theater, there's a bunch of stuff. And there's also some interesting things that happen in Tulsa, like professional bull riding, what? There's the dog agility championship, also what? That you can just go, if you're in a big city, going to these things are so difficult, right? But in Tulsa, it's so easy to get involved and go to these things and do it, it's crazy. Oh, NCAA wrestling championship, boys in tights, hello. I can't imagine.
But really, one great thing about navigating the city too is when you have to make meetings. I remember in Chicago, I maybe have 2 meetings with 2 different organizations in one day because it's just so difficult to get around. But because all of these companies work in pretty much one area, I can have 6, 7 meetings in one day fairly easily. So that's just a great part from a professional standpoint. And it is really easy to go door to door to small businesses. A lot of the owners actually work in their own businesses, so it's really easy to meet people there. What was the second part? The surprise? I guess one thing that surprised me was the extremes on the weather here. The last couple days. I feel like you get closer to Chicago weather in the winter and closer to Austin weather in the summer. Just crazy extremes here, but nothing that Tulsa could do about it. It's just where it's located. We just go with the flow, 4 seasons, 24 hours, deal with it.
I do say that the weather never sticks here, so don't be surprised. You're going to wear a coat for 3 days, but hey, we're going to sweat soon. So it's going to be fine. It never sticks. If any, what is one challenge you experienced through your year, and how did you overcome it?
Like Andy said, the heat is terrible, and to overcome it, I leave.
I think one challenge I experienced here was when it comes comes to seeing certain people, they may not be forthcoming with meeting you right away, and I didn't know this because, like I said, we don't have Tulsa Remote in other cities. And a lot of them want to find out if you're here to pass go and collect 10,000, or if you're truly invested in Tulsa and you want to stay for the long term. So some of the more meaningful connections might take time. Some of those meetings might take some time. So just bear with it. After a year, I felt like people opened up a lot more. They felt like they knew I was more invested in the Tulsa community.
What was a major accomplishment for you since moving to Tulsa? And it doesn't have to be TR related.
Well, besides being a member of the Tulsa Area Irish Society, I would say, that's a joke, but I am a member of the Tulsa Area Irish Society. I would say, accomplishments include, you can come here, grow a garden, grow your own food. That was an accomplishment. I would say having pets but not having pets. We have outdoor neighborhood cats that just and we feed them. So I would say that's an accomplishment. Other than that, I was actually also recruited for a job here in Tulsa, but I promptly quit after 3 months because it sucked. So yeah, I think those were it.
Contacted in Tulsa. I would say it would be twofold. So the first thing I noticed was when I was connecting with the locals, some of them are really happy that Tulsa Remote brought us here. And then there's some locals who are like, oh, you're here through Tulsa Remote. And they're not that excited, right? And I wanted to figure out why. So I had a lot of conversations with the locals, and I realized that some of them feel like a lot of the George Kaiser Family Foundation dollars are exclusively being distributed to resources that help the Tulsa Remoters. And that couldn't be farther from the truth. So it was important for me to find a way to make them feel more included. So I contributed to a foundation, and I started volunteering there. That's really meaningful to me, to help the locals understand that they could get resources to help them get into an accelerator, help their businesses grow, or help getting access to technology. So I feel like Started Tulsa Foundation has been really helpful in terms of being able to make that transition, and they feel more included. Even if they just want to attend an event at a Tento, we're more than forthcoming to get them there, and they can network with VCs. And the second one, this was born out of the Tulsa Idea Challenge, and actually the grand prize winner is Misha. So we are spearheading the Nova Eye initiative to use drones, AI cameras, and a mobile app to prevent school shootings. So we're going to close on our first round of funding at the end of this year, and we're going to pilot this technology into a dozen schools in the Heartland area by next year.
I'm a part of the Tulsa Regional Chamber, and I went to their State of the City, and it's really funny that you mentioned drone. This was your idea. This is the winning thing. Because Tulsa, you had mentioned identity. It was one of the identities that came up. Tulsa is becoming a drone city, and all the investments that's being done in aerospace and aerospace and aeronautics. So I thought that was really cool. Thank you. Oh, question.
I have a question about that. When you say Tulsa's becoming a drone city, is that they're being manufactured here, or is it that their business?
You could answer this.
My understanding and knowledge is that there's a lot of investment being done. So whether that's businesses, manufacturing, jobs, it's all just being funded at this moment to see the creation of it and see what ecosystems build out from those.
And there is quite a bit of manufacturing. So I would say if you really want to know what Tulsa's identity is, look at TIL. All of their verticals are what Tulsa's really known for and what their initiatives are directed towards.
Tulsa Innovation Labs, TIL. So TIL is the organization that received the Tech Hub grant from the federal Tech Hub grant. So follow the money, see the information, and see where that money and that funding is going. So yeah. But okay, so you guys, we're almost here at the end of our panel. So we have one question left. So thank you for your question. And keep in mind of the locations people have said that they've been at and their opportunities and the resources and how they've networked, so you can come and chat with them after last question. So, what's next? And is it different from what's next different from when you first started the program? What's next for you?
A vacation home. No, I mean like I'm the person who will tell you like, if you come here and you are not interested in tech, that's fine. If you don't want to get involved, that's also fine. Because I'm not that entrepreneur. I'm not the person who's like I need to do X, Y, and Z. And it took me some time to kind of like finally realize that is okay. I just want to be here. I just want to move to this amazing city and enjoy what it has to offer. So, vacation home is still my first answer.
I would say I'd like to summarize that by advocate, and that's really been kind of in my blood. Tulsa has opened up my eyes, so had I never moved here, I wouldn't figure out what works here and what they can use. But I never want to be that person to come in and say, oh, everything is perfect, because then you're not going to advocate for those changes. So we are seeing, we have a lot of tax dollars, and they're not going into infrastructure. Education's been at the bottom 5th percentile for almost 20 years now. So there needs to be money that goes into education. There's certain areas in Tulsa where crime needs to be significantly reduced. And also just making sure that small businesses see Tulsa as a viable place to start their business. So we need changes in tax and compliance law to make sure that businesses want to grow in Tulsa. We need resources here to grow those businesses. We need a job market here. When a Tulsa Remoter loses their job, they should have another option. They shouldn't have to leave Tulsa. And having a Tulsa address should not be a detriment to you getting a remote job or having an Oklahoma address in general.
Preach, Andy.
What kind of public office is your Just kicks it off.
What's next for everyone, whether it's a good time to just to make our life what we want and to really relax and enjoy the community that we build and the arts and the culture that is here, or we can go and visit, or whether it's to build. I think we've gotten great answers from both of our panelists. Thank you. That Tulsa really is whatever you want it to be and whatever you build it to be. So with that, you guys, honestly, thank you so much. I appreciate it.